The big story of the day, US President Donald Trump offered to be the mediator between India and Pakistan on the Kashmir issue as he met Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan at the White House. The US President claimed that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had asked him for assistance on the Kashmir issue when both the leaders met 2 weeks ago. However, the Foreign Ministry later denied US President's claims that Prime Minister Modi had asked for any mediation on Kashmir. In a late-night tweet, the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Ravish Kumar clarified that no such request had been made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Trump's statement comes as India maintains that Kashmir issue is a bilateral one and no third party has any role to play in it. President Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi had met last month on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan, and Pakistan Premier Imran Khan was also at the summit, though there was no bilateral meeting between him and Prime Minister Modi.
I was with Prime Minister Modi 2 weeks ago, and we talked about this subject, and he actually said, "Would you like to be a mediator or arbitrator?" I said, "Where?" He said, "Kashmir," because this has been going on for many, many years. I was surprised at how long it's been going on.
70 years.
I think they'd like to see it resolved, and I think you'd like to see it resolved. And if I can help, I would love to be a mediator. It shouldn't be, I mean, it's impossible to believe two incredible countries that are very, very smart, with very smart leadership, can't solve a problem like that. But if you would want me to mediate or arbitrate, I would be willing to do that.
We have tried our best. We've made all overtures to India to start dialogue, resolve our differences through dialogue. But unfortunately, we haven't made headways as yet. But I'm hoping that President Trump would push this process.
My colleague Geeta Mohan now joins us for further inputs on the story. Geeta, what has really happened here? The Indian government has categorically said that no such offer or help was sought from the United States of America.
We have tried our best.
Well, given that in the past we have seen many such offers and a prompt response from Ministry of External Affairs and Government of India on any third-party intervention, India has always maintained that it's unacceptable, that it's a bilateral issue. Kashmir is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan, and the dispute will have to be resolved bilaterally. But this time around, what was different was that President Trump was quoting Prime Minister Narendra Modi of having sought mediation and arbitration help from President Trump on the issue of Kashmir. There was absolute clarity and clarification that came from the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson, wherein he not only said that no such offer or help was sought by Prime Minister Modi on the sidelines of Osaka, but also reiterated India's stand that it is a bilateral dispute which will have to be resolved bilaterally between the two countries in a terror-free environment under the Lahore and Shimla agreement that was agreed upon by the two countries. So the offer that President Trump spoke of was rather maybe a misunderstanding or a misinterpretation of the conversation that took place in Osaka on the sidelines of the G20 summit between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump.
But Geeta, would you really call this a misinterpretation? What do you think now is going to happen when it comes to the statement that's been made by the US President Donald Trump, and also the fact that there has been already a rejection of this statement from India?
Well, it is a very serious issue. The fact that a president of a country, and none other than POTUS himself, has come out and said that this was a help that was sought by Prime Minister Modi. What we're given to understand is that in all probability and in clarity, I know that for a fact, is the help that India seeks from US is only to contain cross-border terrorism that emanates from Pakistan. And in that context, when we talk about cross-border terrorism, when India speaks about cross-border terrorism, it does relate to Kashmir. So there could have been misinterpretation, but we cannot leave it at that with India rejecting that entire statement, because Pakistan is not going to accept only India's word. They're going to play up the entire statement by President Trump. What we need is for the White House and the State Department to come clean on what President Trump said and be on the same page with India on the issue of Kashmir. There can be no two ways. There are going to be questions that would be asked in the weekly briefings, and US will have to explain itself on what President President Trump's stand is, because there can be no two interpretations and two varying statements on the issue of Kashmir that Pakistan can use later when it comes to Prime Minister Narendra Modi having allegedly offered or sought help on mediation on the issue of Kashmir.
Geeta, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. U.S. Congressman Eliot L. Engel, who is the chairperson of House of Committee of Foreign Affairs, called the Indian ambassador to U.S. Harsh Vardhan and said that he supports the dialogue between India and Pakistan on the Kashmir issue, but the scope of this dialogue can only be determined by India and Pakistan. So this is a direct contradiction to the statement that has been made by POTUS himself. Geeta Mohan is on the phone line with me. Geeta, an obvious contradiction to what POTUS said earlier about mediating between India and Pakistan when it comes to Kashmir issue, and now the U.S. congressman is going ahead and contradicting the same statement.
Well, that's right. We do know that congressmen who have been in politics for many years and have had any dealings with India, he is the head of the Foreign Relations Committee, know very well that the issue of Kashmir is a very sensitive issue, that it has to be dealt with very sensitively, and these off-the-cuff remarks don't help either country. Also, more importantly, these congressmen very clearly know that Kashmir is a bilateral issue. That change and that shift had happened many, many years ago when the U.S. administration realized that no offer of mediation or third-party intervention will be acceptable to India. And since then, U.S. presidents have been very clear that they will offer any kind of help only if India asks for it. And Pakistan asks for it, but there is going to be no offer of third-party intervention otherwise. Knowing India stand very well, no president really comes out and offers help themselves. So they're very clear, they know exactly what India's stand is, but it does seem like President Trump did not have the entire brief on Kashmir and did not have the entire clear picture on what India's stand is for him to have made the kind of comments. He also misinterpreted and misunderstood the conversation that he had with Prime Minister Modi in Osaka on the sidelines of the G20 summit recently.